Everything just seems to be moving way too quickly. I mean, look at your calendar. We're in April, 4 months into 2026, and it's gone by within a blink of an eye. What happened? I remember when I was in school and the days felt so long, especially in a class that I hated. Every month in school felt long enough to be a month, whereas now, a month feels like what? A week, and it's over. I can always remember my older family members constantly telling me to enjoy the time I had when I was young, because when I get older, time would fly by without me realising it. I never truly understood what they meant, because me being a naive kid, I always thought my days would always feel as long and endless as they are now. But oh boy, was I wrong. And well, that really started to change when I hit 20, 21. It's at that point in my life where I finished my education, and it's around that time where I got my current job. My days started to blur into one. I'm doing the exact same thing every day. I go to work and do the same tasks I do every week. I then make my way to the gym 3 out of the 5 days of the week. I then come home by bus or by car, which is quite a new thing for me now. I then make some overnight oats, stick it in the fridge for later. Then I hop in the shower, dry off, change into some clothes, and then sit at my desk where I'm currently at right now. I either try looking for a new job with little to no success, so I end up looking at my CV and seeing if I can change anything to maybe improve it. Or looking for a paid course that I can take in order to improve my chance of getting a job, so I can maybe slap some new skills onto my CV after paying for a course. But trying to find one like that is quite difficult and quite expensive. I've literally been doing this for 2, nearly 3 years straight, so I can finally say I now understand why my relatives always kept telling me to enjoy my life while I was young. Life does come at you fast, you just might not realise it. But don't get me wrong, having a good and consistent schedule is very important to people. It gives their day structure and allows them to focus on a task and stops themselves from getting distracted. It's like someone who's very consistent with their training and meal prepping. They thrive on structure that they've been living with for years, because that structure allows them to build their dream physique thanks to the consistent days in the gym and eating the exact same meals every day. But for some, having a schedule can be boring and mundane. You're forcing yourself into a system that you don't really want to be a part of. You want to be more free with what you do with your time, and there's nothing wrong with that either. To be honest, if you're in your late teens and early 20s, I'd personally say forget having a routine and just experiment with your life. Find things you like and dislike. Go places, do things that scare you, find your passion. But recently I've been trying to find ways to slow my time down. In a previous video I made it clear that I want to spend less time on my phone since I end up watching hours of useless content that provide me with absolutely nothing. I do that especially on the weekends. So the first thing I thought to do instead of scrolling was to watch a movie. I know it's still looking at a screen, but at least it's a compelling story that I'm watching for about, 2-3 hours? So I ended up watching Good Will Hunting for the first time, and man, what a film. Loved it. Instead of wasting 2 and a bit hours of watching brain dead reels, I watched a really great story. So, I did it again. Wolf of Wall Street, Rip, Limitless, Interstellar, films I've never seen before, and all of them were fantastic. It might not be a productive use of my time, but it felt as if a couple of hours I spent watching these movies over the course of 3 weekends made the day slower. Or because I was doing something different from scrolling on Instagram or watching pointless YouTube videos. Something else I've started recently, well, if you consider a year ago to be recent, then that's up to you. I started reading a novel series that I've been meaning to read for years now. Bearing in mind, I hated reading in school. It just seemed so boring to me. But since I've started to read this novel series, I've grown to like the idea of just sitting and reading for 30 or 40 minutes. I feel my time slowing down when I do read because I'm doing something that I don't normally do, and I enjoy it so much. Anything I can do to stop me from doing the exact same thing I do every week is worth the time, especially if it gets me off my phone, because it doesn't help when I'm glued to my phone or computer. There's always a clock somewhere on the screen. Having access to a clock is another time killer. You're watching the minutes and hours fly away, all because you're staring at the screen. Watching the clock in class that I hated seriously made me think that time stood still. 1 minute in that class felt like an hour. Now, whenever I look at a clock at work or at home, I look away for 1 minute and suddenly a whole hour has passed. I think the moral of the story is that it's great to have a schedule. Keeps you on track of your goals and milestones. But don't forget to let yourself have some freedom to do new and random things. But don't let that freedom suck you back into old habits and strip away the precious hours of the day that you have. Because you can't get it back. Have fun, but don't waste it.